I want to welcome you to another installment into the Invested Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Invest. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at All Things Invest with 3 T's. And also make sure you smack dab that subscribe button. I got a special treat for you guys today. I got a special gem. I got an awesome guest, a motivational guest. I got a guest that represents the epitome of investing in yourself. So I'll list a few of these man's accolades. He's a former NFL football player, played some years into the league, had some success. Also, he's turned into a keynote speaker. His keynote is going from making eight figures. So if you guys know what 8 figures is, that's at least $10 million. 8 figures to making $8.25 an hour when some business dealings went bellied up. This man hit the canvas. He hit the canvas hard, but he picked himself up off the ground, got up, got back into his feet, has an amazing story. He's also now a best-selling author, motivational speaker. He's a coach to many, and he's also a host of a successful and an awesome podcast called Get Authentic. I want to welcome Marques Ogden to the Invested Podcast. Marques, my man, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well, John. How about yourself, man? You all right?
I'm good, man. I was super excited you're able to make some time for us because I see you're a busy guy. You're all over the place. You're speaking. You're doing a little bit of this and that. Your husband, you got kids. So it was awesome that you were able to set aside a little bit of time for us. So just to start it off really quickly so people can get a little bit acquainted with you, Marques, where are you from and where did you grow up?
I'm from Washington, D.C. I grew up about
Wow.
15 minutes from Howard University.
Okay.
And I loved it, man. You know, Northeast D.C., Howard University, graduate. Grew up close to there. Father went to Howard. So I'm a Washington, D.C. guy through and through.
Yeah, so that's actually quite ironic. So my family, so my grandparents, they actually came out here, I want to say like back in the 60s from Washington, D.C. So a lot of my family, like the original family, actually is from Washington, D.C. So that's actually pretty awesome about that right there, man. So, but it gets cold back there though sometimes.
Yes, sir, man. Really, that's why I moved down here. I'm down in North Carolina now.
Okay. Yeah, man. I've been down there once years back, and it was like it was in the middle of winter, and there was like, yeah, make sure you pack really warm, man. I try to go outside in DC in just a plain hoodie. Yeah, me being a Cali boy.
Not in DC, man. Not that time of year. No, you gotta have a lot more on because if you don't, man, you're gonna have a big problem.
It's gonna be rough. So let me ask you, man, as we get into it, like I like to start kind of from the start, how things started, and then to now. So, like, how was your childhood? How was it growing up in DC? What were the things that you like to do? What was a typical day for Marques?
Yeah, man. Grew up in a single parent household with a single father, which was awesome. And I was into sports and playing with my friends, and a lot of my friends lived far away, like 30 minutes in Maryland. So I spent a lot of time over there with my god sisters and my godmother and my childhood friends. And then from there, I went to St. John's College High School in Northwest DC.
Wow.
And then from there, went to Howard University, and I played football for the Bison. And I really enjoyed my time at Howard, and it was really phenomenal in that regard because it taught me a lot about the game and a lot about football and life in general.
Yeah. So let me ask you, with you being big into sports, when did your love for football first start? Was it just you being super small? When did you decide, like, hey, I like football, I like doing it? What made you more gravitate toward playing football?
Honestly, man, my brother playing football, being 7 years older than I was, that was kind of a big thing for me. I didn't start playing until my high school freshman year, and then which was great because I got a chance to play with all my friends, and I got a chance to learn the game, be around the game, and be around some great guys. And again, my love for football didn't really develop until then. And then when I went to college, I wasn't sure how it was going to work out because I was recruited late. I was like, am I going to be a starter? Am I ever going to play at Howard? And then I ended up being a 4-year starter at right tackle, from that regard. So, yeah, man, it was really huge, for us, going forward. And I got a lot of exposure to football and life and things of that nature playing at Howard.
So football was like some kind of in the family because you're the brother that actually played in the league as well in the Hall of Fame. I think only missed one or two games in his career. Jonathan. So kind of how was that? That kind of maybe it was just in the blood, right?
Oh yeah, man. Our dad played football at Howard, one of the first classes to get a full scholarship
Ooh, I didn't know.
for athletic to play sports at college and football
Nice.
for Howard. And that went really well. And then my brother played at St. Albans and went to UCLA, then got
Yep.
drafted to the NFL to the Ravens. And then
Yep.
I played at St. John's, went to Howard, then I got drafted to the NFL and to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Seen that. So let me ask you, how was it like being a young man, just getting drafted? I'm in the league. Just explain to me your mindset, at that time, just kind of feeling like on top of the world at that time. Would I be right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you're drafted, you made it. Now it's time to stay there. But when I got to the NFL, it was such an eye-opening experience for me because all of the amenities and all of the like the practice facility, the training room, all those things. I wasn't used to that type of things at Howard University. So in that regard, it was interesting because I was interested trying to really play myself in that regard, in going forward. So for me, it was big time because I learned a lot about, how to perform at a high level and
Right.
that you have the ability to be the best. And I saw that the NFL teams would always put out the best, giving you the best meals, the best workout facilities, the best training facilities, the best practice facilities, the best stadiums, in order to get the best, which is exactly what you should do when you're investing in a product, which is the athletes to play a sport, which is, of course, was football.
Yeah. So let me ask you though, with you going into the league and then having just all that excitement, all that just lights, camera, action, that can just kind of sometimes be a lot for a young man. Because I've heard some stories from some other people that have played pro sports, and some people were just like, yeah, it was just a lot, and just for some people, it's just a little bit too much. And can success too soon, or success and when you're not in the right mindset, can that somewhat be like a bad thing?
Of course, because if you're not ready for it, it can take you down. So I tell people all the time, if you're not ready to handle success, success can be ready to handle you. And if you don't put yourself in the right mind frame to be able to get where you want to go and have the right mentality of being humble and being appreciative, you will eventually face that crossroad of, am I going to, remain humble? Am I going to, or am I going to actually turn arrogant and have an ego because I'm having success? And unfortunately, a lot of people, and again, it happened to me in my business life, it was how I lost everything in 2013 because after my NFL career, I got into construction, built a business, and unfortunately, I lost it all because of some bad mistakes that I made.
So would you say with that, because I did hear you speaking about it, I actually had read about it, and the biggest deterrent that you said that really caused your downfall was poor decision making and just having a hell of a big ego. So it's having it so explain to me your state of mind at that time. I know from you playing in the NFL, you being this guy, you making money and all that stuff. It was at that time where like you didn't always maybe take advice all that good, or what was your mindset at that time? You said big ego.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my ego was bigger than King Kong, and I was all about
It's pretty
money,
big.
money and fame and notoriety and all these things. And because of that, I lost sight of what mattered most, which was people and relationships and human capital and building trust and loyalty. And it cost me everything because my best people started to leave the organization, and I had a job that went really bad, and I spent a lot of money over budget. And when the client denied my change order, I ended up going into a Chapter 7 complete bankruptcy.
Damn, I even heard you say on one of your podcasts you were talking to one of your guests, and your guest had ran into some financial troubles, and you actually said you had had a car or two repoed on the same day. Did that actually happen? Like on the
It
same
did.
exact day?
Same day when I moved down here to Raleigh, and we talked when we interviewed Brandon T. Adams, because he said his wife's car got repossessed, and
Yeah.
we had both of our cars repossessed in the same day. Well, they were both my cars because my wife my fiance at the time, not my wife, we ended up having some issues financially, and both cars were repoed by the repo man in the same day. Both cars were pulled off our new rental lot in Raleigh the same day.
God. So just man, explain just all this like happening just so crazy and all this just so like quickly like just I mean how did you get so one thing I know from being in business and one thing I actually heard one of your guests say is it's good when you have a good corner man and it's good to listen to them and you pretty much had lost most of your corner men at that time, am I right?
Correct. Oh yeah, I lost all my cornermen at that time, all of them.
Yeah, that's just so. Like for most people, 'cause I talked to and shared your story with some friends and colleagues of mine, just told them what happened, and they're just really interested and really wanted to listen to this show about like how did you get back up? Because I'll tell you, Marcus, most people they don't get back up. Like they hit rock bottom, they spiral into depression. Then there's tends to be like some substance abuse, some things of that nature, and it's like that's what that person used to be or what they could have been. Like, explain to me your mindset. How'd you get yourself up off that canvas?
So I ended up having a rock bottom, spoiled milk moment of clarity when somebody's trash and rotten meat and nasty protruding garbage got over my body, my skin, and my clothes when I was working as a custodian in downtown Raleigh.
Whoa! So
And
you went, you went from construction business, 8 figures, to you were like cleaning toilets.
that's right.
Wow.
Yep, for $8.25 an hour. That's why one of our signature keynotes is titled "The Ego Mistake: From 8 Figures to 8.25 per hour." We have 6 main signature keynotes, and that's one of them, which is kind of like our perseverance story about again the ego mistake from 8 figures to 8.25 per hour.
Wow. So one thing I've learned in my short time from being in business is we have to sometimes look at ourselves in the mirror and realize that we aren't all things and that we don't know everything. And one thing I've had to learn is try to surround myself with good people. Have to learn to be able to take, advice, constructive criticism. And sometimes I have to learn to leave my ego at the door. So what would your advice be to, a younger person that's out there having some success? Because to me, getting success isn't necessarily all that hard. Not saying it's easy, but the sustainability is what it's really about, and just having the right mindset and the right skills to be able to do that. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I mean, getting success is hard. It's just not as hard as maintaining it, but success can be hard depending upon what you feel success really looks like. And I tell everybody, no matter who you are, how old, your race, your gender, get a coach. Everybody needs a coach because if you don't have a coach to help you see what you can't see, you're going to get in a lot of trouble on the journey. So you want to get a coach to help you get where you want to go. And it's really important in that regard. So I tell everybody, get a coach because a coach can see the pitfalls that you can't see.
So you guys have heard that right there from Marques Ogden. Everybody that wants to be successful in life and business, go out there, get a coach. Get yourself a good cornerman. So, brother, with having that trash on your body and on your face, did you look in the mirror and just say, "I got to do something else. This is it. I can't do this. Like I'm better than. I got to pull myself out of this." Because I know you had to go through a little bit of depression just looking in the mirror. You're a custodian now. Not knocking anybody that does that for a living, but from where you would come from, I mean, that's just a fall from grace just for the ages.
Right. And so basically, I looked at myself and I realized there was no accountability in my life, which was an internal promise to
Right.
myself to do what's necessary to turn my objectives into accomplishments. And I had no responsibility. I had no external promises to anybody else to help them be successful because I was not in a position to be accountable to myself. So that's when I went home, wrote down my 3 biggest strengths and said, let's try keynote speaking. Launched a speaking business in September 2013. Didn't get a paid speaking job for 2.5 years. got our first paid speaking job April 2016. I got a coach. I learned the business. I learned how to position myself. And after 6.5 years now of doing this, it'll be 7. Actually, now it's actually, yeah, it was actually, yeah. So my first paid speaking job was April 2016. So it's been 6.5 years of paid jobs. We've worked for now 45 Fortune 500 companies as a speaker, 45. And of those, I think 15 are Fortune 100, and I think 6 or 7 are Fortune 25. And we were a 3-time best-selling author. We have a podcast that is in the top 1.5% worldwide. We have 2 best-selling books. Well, 3: Sleepless Nights, Success Cycle.
Next cycles.
Yeah, we got Pivots, Persistence, and Game Changers that we're a co-author of. So and our podcast is in the top 1.5% worldwide most listened to after only being out for less than 2.5 months. It'll be 3 months that we've been out in 3 days with our show. We launched June 22nd of this year. So we took everything that we went through and turned it into our passion to help others succeed in life where we failed.
Being able to really take that thing and just really package it, because people can resonate with that. People love a comeback story. And you got people right now, they're on the ropes. They're getting knocked out from life. But you had said something on your podcast. It's like, get up. Like, no matter what, you get tossed down on the ground, pick yourself up, just get up off the ground. So whose idea was it for you to go ahead and do the podcast? I mean, you're already speaking, successful at that. Who gave the idea? Let's go ahead and put this on a podcast. Let's bring on some dope guests and let's really just kill this thing. Because, man, you are killing it.
So basically, hold on one second. Hold on a second.
Oh, good.
Come here. Okay, come here. Fair.
Hey, it's real life sometimes, man. We're all parents, we're fathers, and husbands and things like that. So that's just how it is sometimes.
Yes, come here.
Yeah.
Fair. Ogden, please come to daddy. Please come to daddy. Please come to daddy. Okay. No more floss. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. We good?
Oh, yeah, man. All good, man.
All right. So I'm sorry. What was the question?
Yeah, I was pretty much asking you, like, what made you, so you doing the speaking, writing the books, what made you say, hey, you know what? I want to be a podcaster. Since you've launched, man, you guys have like hit the ground running. I've been seeing it, in the top 1% This is almost unheard of and just really killing the game. And the podcast, I see why it's there, because the podcast is dope. The stories are dope. The guests are dope. I see why it's there.
So what happened is that my good friend Gus Farrat, former NFL quarterback, said,
"Yeah, I heard Gus Farrat.
Yeah,
wow.
Marcus, you had a podcast before. Now let's go ahead and you can launch one by yourself and really focus on how you want to interview people." And I was very hesitant, very nervous, but I ended up doing it. And it's been a huge help to our career, to our brand. It's a huge credibility factor. We've been streamed in 17 different countries in the last 2.5 months. US, Canada, Italy, France, South Africa,
wow,
Finland, Israel, Sudan, United Arab Emirates. Yep. We've been in where else have we been? South Korea, Indonesia, the Philippines, and so we have had a lot of success, and it's been a huge credibility factor and builder for our brand. So glad that my good friend Gus Farrat got me to step out of my comfort zone to be able to launch the Get Authentic with Marques Ogden podcast. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeart, Stitcher, Pandora. We're on YouTube. And it's just a great thing. We come out now every Monday with episodes, every Thursday and every Friday. And we have our special episodes, our regular episodes, and our elite episodes that come out, again, like I said, Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
You guys heard that. Awesome podcast. Definitely give it a listen, subscribe. So before I let you go really, really quick, you talked about stepping out of comfort zones. We've had a couple of guests coming on your show talking about stepping out of comfort zones. We tend to want to stay in comfort, but a lot of times it leads us, and I've said it before, to living a life when we're older and we're just not fulfilled. That's why you see some people and they're kind of cranky and they're not really loving what they're doing because they stayed for comfort. So a little bit of advice to those that are on the fence. They have an idea, they want to put it out there, but just worried about it won't be good enough. They're worried about what people will think. Because at the end of the day, the average person, they just kind of want to fit in. So that's why so many people just stay in the comfort zone, and failure scares a lot of people, right?
Well, great quote by Jonah Hill, the actor. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. 3 things you need to do to step out of the comfort zone. Focus on less, then obsess. Upgrade your story to upgrade your life. Maximum effort times maximum effectiveness gives you maximum results. And I'll close with this in that regard. Be focused like a laser that can cut through a diamond and or a table. Don't be a light bulb that shines bright, brightening up the whole room. Because when you're trying to break out of the comfort zone, focus on what you do best and then obsess. If you can get to your subconscious, you can break down 40 million bits of information in a matter of seconds. But most people never get there because most people don't understand that the conscious mind was designed for survival. The subconscious mind was designed for thriving. But if you don't push out of the comfort zone, you'll always be in the conscious mindset, which is going to do just enough to get by. So if you want to be great and break out of your comfort zone, tap into your subconscious. And once you do that, the sky's the limit.
Heard it right there. Keynote speaker, Marques Ogden, best-selling author, former NFL player, podcaster. Shout your IG really quickly, Marques. People want to get with you, get with your coaching, get on your show. Just take in that energy, man. You put out some dope intakes. So I know some people that want to get around you, man. Shoot out the info real quick before I let you go.
Yeah, man. If they can go to @Marques, Marques Ogden, Ogden. Our website is www.marquesogden.com, or shoot me an email, marques@marquesogden.com. We'll connect with you and we'll touch base and chat it up.
Marques, thanks for coming on, man. We'll have to do this again. It's been awesome. I want you to enjoy the rest of your evening. Get the kids laying on down, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, and I appreciate it, brother. Take care of yourself.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Johnny Invested Podcast, Marques Ogden. Have a good one.